Hi, this is Dave. Here's an idea that maybe you have never thought of before, and that is, quote, mind software. Mind software. You know, the recent proliferation of AI, artificial intelligence, has surfaced a lingering issue. If we can create software to increase the capabilities of a computer, can we not create software to increase the capabilities of the greatest computer we know, and that is our minds? Can we create mind software? Well, let's unpack this idea. First, a definition of software. Here's what Wikipedia says, quote, groups of binary values signifying processor instructions. So if software gives instructions to a processor, can we not build a set of instructions that will enhance our ability to think more effectively? And if so, wouldn't that be mind software? So to make sure we're all understanding the same thing, here's the definition. Mind software is a set of instructions that drive thinking processes so that we can more effectively accomplish a sophisticated task. Let me repeat that. Mind software is a set of instructions that drive thinking processes so that we can more effectively accomplish a sophisticated task. In other words, mind software helps us think better. Is that such an outrageous thought? I don't think so. We probably don't need any special software to accomplish routine daily tasks, but from time to time, we encounter a problem or a project that requires sophisticated answers or that carries with it such important consequences that we ought to use whatever tool we can to ensure a positive outcome. Our rapidly changing environment challenges all to change the way we work and think and to do it better. You know, if we don't change and improve at least as rapidly as the world is changing around us, we'll fall behind. It's time to add some new tools to our repertoire. Mind software is one of them. Now, as with any sophisticated work, one of the building blocks to mind software is effectively designed processes. We understand that a good, well-designed process makes everything work better and easier. This is true for any and every sophisticated task. So we can think of a server taking and delivering a restaurant customer's order. For example. The restaurant owner can let every server do it however he or she wants, or the owner can create a process and then train and equip the staff to implement that process. Since the process is composed of key steps, those steps can be measured and those measurements compared to a goal. So, for example, let's say the server's process requires the customer's order to be entered into a tablet computer at the table within 15 minutes of the server greeting them. Now, you could easily develop a means of capturing that information and compare actual measurements to the ideal. And when there is a discrepancy, you can take some action to improve the steps of the process. So when you do that, you continuously improve. Now that approach is effective for any and every recurring sophisticated task. Think of McDonald's, for example. If they had no system or processes, you know, they don't hire the best people they can find and then say to them, you guys figure it out. No, they create a system made up of processes, activities, tools, and measurements, and then train and measure the employees to effectively implement that system. So whether it's making a sales call or cooking a meal or assembling a Ford or writing a term paper or any and every sophisticated reproducible task should be turned into a process and systematized in order to do it better and continually improve it. The task should be sophisticated. In other words, it should be composed of a number of subtasks. For example, installing a new video doorbell requires a number of tasks, whereas ringing the doorbell does not. So number one, our task, our application for Mind software should be a sophisticated task. Number two, it should be a recurring task. In other words, the same task should present itself over and over again. So if you're a homeowner, building a house is probably a one-off sophisticated project. You are unlikely to do it over and over again. But if you're a builder, the project of building a house is a regular recurring challenge. The homeowner may not need a system to think about it, but the home builder sure better have one to survive. So a good process, well designed and adhered to carefully, can be a significant tool for effectiveness and efficiency. We got that. Now, what about thinking? Are there sophisticated, reproducible tasks that can be accomplished more effectively and more easily by creating and installing mind software? And mind software is instructions about thinking processes to accomplish this task. Can we apply everything we know about processes and systems to thinking? Certainly, we all have sophisticated and recurring tasks that we encounter, and a significant number of those require sophisticated responses. Understanding that, can we think better? What if, instead of launching into a sophisticated task like strategic planning, we spent some time creating a thinking process to ensure that we created the most effective outcomes we could? Better yet, instead of writing our own software, suppose we sought out mind process programmers who have given deep thought to the process, have lots of experience, and have created the mental software to help us. If we did that, then we would have an understanding of what mind software is, why its use is more critical today than ever, and we would have a basic process for seeking it out. So let's just focus on some common business tasks. For example, strategic planning, time management, goal setting. There's a few that meet our criteria as sophisticated recurring tasks, and they're excellent subjects for mind software. Could our results be improved if we created a process for thinking about these things? If we installed that process into our own heads and then launched into the processes necessary to accomplish the task? Could we do it better? Well, of course. The answer is yes. Of course we could do it better. So, let me just digress here right now with a little bit of a personal story. I was just beginning my speaking practice, and I decided to join the National Speakers Association and attend their annual convention. And there I met a consultant to speakers. Actually, some of you will remember Zig Ziglar. She was Zig Ziglar's consultant. And so I hired her to work with me at the very onset of my speaking practice. And so that meant spending a week in Dallas and working closely with her. And so I did. So I'm in her office, and about mid-morning of the first day, as I was sharing some of my materials and concepts, she suddenly stopped me. "Do you know what you do?" she asked me. "Yes," I replied. "I do all the sales stuff I've been showing you." "No, you don't," she said. I have a gift," meaning her. She has a gift for being able to work with a speaker and discern his or her core message. And your core message is not sales. I don't think so," I said. What do you think it is?" "You teach people how to think," she said. I said, "No, I don't think so. Clearly I do this sales stuff." And she said, "Trust me, this is my business. I want to stop this session right now. I want you to go back to the hotel, have lunch, and then sit down with a yellow pad and a pen and think about how you think. Write it down. You'll find you have a system for thinking." Well, I kind of argued with her. "I don't think so," I said. "But I'm paying you the big bucks, so okay, I'll do it. So I went back to the hotel, ate lunch, and then settled in with a pad of paper to try to think about how I thought and document it. What a thing. Write down how you think. But by 7 o'clock that evening, I had 12 steps and 8 overlays in a matrix. I was astonished. She was right. I had a system for thinking. I took it back the next day and I apologized for not trusting her, and I showed her my system. And she said, "See, I told you." But what you have here is way too sophisticated for the vast majority of people, she said, so let's work on simplifying it. And we did. And that was the beginning of what now has developed into something we call metamorphosis mind software. It has evolved and become more accessible. And at the moment, there are 11 modules teaching various aspects of metamorphosis mind software. We're going to have, when I'm finished, there'll be 27 different modules, but there's 11 right now. And they're all free to members of our XI online community. So XI is an online community where we focus on excellence and influence. That's the acronym XI, Excellence and Influence. And we provide content and connections for people who want to strive for excellence and more influence. And some of the content, among others, is these first 11 modules of Metamorphosis Mind Software. So I'll put a link in the show notes for the XI community. I want you to consider it. I want you to consider the bigger idea, and that is, can we develop software for our minds? And my answer is decidedly, emphatically yes, and here it is. Okay, you can think better. That's it. We're done. Bye-bye.